With Justin Fields playing well in recent weeks, what should the Bears do with that #1 pick?
Think long and hard. I honestly don't know.
Oh, this Justin Fields is going to be fine.
Look, I think he has trouble throwing the football on a consistent basis. But
the Chicago Bears are about to have one of the most pivotal and interesting off seasons in the history of the NFL. And of course, I am talking about what they decide to do with Justin Fields and their #1 overall draft pick. So, if you haven't been paying attention all year, here's the situation. Justin Fields has started for the Chicago Bears for 3 years now. His first 2 years, he looked pretty shaky. There was a lot of promise coming into this year that he would take off, mainly because he looked good in the offseason, and he got DJ Moore, an elite wide receiver, to throw the ball to. To start the year off, however, there just was not a lot of improvement. This left all Bears fans and, fantasy owners pretty disappointed with him. They're like, okay, guess it's time to move on. To make things worse, then Justin Fields gets hurt and he's out for a while. When he returns, he actually starts to look good. Now, you think, oh, he looks good. Problem solved. What do you worry about? Like, the team went from terrible to winning 4 out of their past 5 games. This should be something that Bears fans, they see, they enjoy, and they just are excited for next season. And Justin Fields is under contract for next year and can easily be extended the following year using the 5th-year option on a first-round pick. However, there is a huge twist. Last year, the Bears traded the #1 overall pick to the Panthers for, a variety of things such as DJ Moore and some very high draft capital. Well, that has turned into the #1 overall pick this year. So, now the Bears have to decide, do we keep Justin Fields or do we draft whatever quarterback we want with this #1 overall pick? In today's video, I will go over their options, the upsides and downsides to each, and what I think they should do. I'm going to start off with the decision to trade Justin Fields and draft whichever quarterback you want, probably Caleb Williams in this draft. Okay, so here it goes. First off, if you trade Justin Fields, you'll get some draft compensation for him. What it is pretty speculative, but you will get something. The next benefit is that you won't have to pay your quarterback as much. Justin Fields has already used 3 years of his rookie contract, and the rookie, of course, will just be on his first year of the rookie contract. And this is a huge benefit because if you look at the NFL over the past 10 or 15 years, several of these dynasties were built around cheap quarterbacks. You look at teams such as the Seattle Seahawks. These are kind of the prototypical team when you're thinking of this. They had Russell Wilson on a rookie contract, so they surrounded him with an absolutely loaded team. You look at the Eagles team that won the Super Bowl. You had a quarterback on a rookie contract surrounded by talent. Or even you look at this year's 49ers, you have Brock Purdy surrounded by talent. Clearly, when you can get a quarterback on a rookie contract performing like a top 5, top 10 NFL quarterback, and then you develop the roster well, this is an easy way to make an excellent team and compete for the Super Bowl. To add to this, Drake Maye and Caleb Williams, the two kind of top tier draft prospects at quarterback, are seen as, they're more towards the Trevor Lawrence category than they are, the average quarterback. They're seen as very good prospects and not just typical first round quarterbacks. Another reason why you would want to just start over at quarterback, other than the promise of a new one and, the cost of it, is that Justin Fields throughout his entire career has simply not been that impressive. Yes, if you compare him to how he was earlier in his career, I would say that he has improved. But you look at his career as a whole. You look at the stats. 40 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I'm not impressed. So, either quarterback, you will have to be kind of looking for some upside, looking for some improvement. You might as well go for the unknown chance at winning the lottery versus someone that you probably don't think will ever be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And really, that's kind of the reasons I have for getting rid of Justin Fields. Quite simply the money, and he hasn't played that great. So, you know, that's not a lot of reasons, but they speak for themselves. And many of people out there think this is the right thing to do. If you made it this far into the video, please consider liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel for more great, excellent content. But back to the video. And now for why they should keep Justin Fields, and you can just listen to the fans and see what they think. So if you have the fans on their side, you know, can't hurt, but there's much more to it than that. So let's start off. Justin Fields, since he has returned over the past month or so, has been greatly improved, and the team has won 4 of their past 5 games. So clearly, he can get better. You know, he's not just like some dead-end project. And to add to that, the team likes him. It's not like a Carson Wentz situation where all the team hates him. This team, they like him, they support him, they want to keep him. And when addressing the money situation, it is fairly complicated and unknown. So yes, they do have 2 years of control over Justin Fields remaining. So, you know, you don't have to make an immediate decision. But let's say you let him play out next year and he's pretty good. You could do a Daniel Jones type contract. And in case you haven't paid attention to Daniel Jones' salary, because, you know, I guess you're not just absolutely obsessed with minor NFL details, he got signed this year to a 4-year extension that has a pretty easy out after 2 years. And it pays him roughly $40 million per year. So you think, oh, that's a ton of money. Well, it's not in terms of NFL money when Jalen Hurts signed for over $52 million a year. So you do save a decent amount of money, roughly 25% of the money compared to a top tier quarterback if you can sign into this contract. And I would be surprised if he wouldn't agree to this. When there is a chance he gets, you know, cut, benched, never gets another chance, I would think he would jump at, you know, 45-ish, 42-ish million dollars per year for the next few years. This is generational wealth. It's a win-win. So yes, you do have to pay him a ton of money, but it's not like you're paying him Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow money. So that is one upside, and you will get to use that money to solidify other parts of the roster. And to add to that, the Bears currently have $61 million of available cap space next year, so they do have a decent amount of room just to wiggle with. So I would say this money, yes, it is part of the issue, but it's not a huge deal. The next part of the equation for keeping Justin Fields is what would you get out of the pick that you would trade? And so in the previous year, they got multiple first-round picks and DJ Moore and more. More and more, you know. But this year, it is speculated that they could get even more since these quarterbacks are seen as highly touted prospects. So you can get what's estimated to be 3 first-round picks and a bunch of day 2 picks and maybe even a good veteran on a good deal. That is the type of capital that can set up your franchise to build a great team around the quarterback. So even though the quarterback will cost a little bit more money, the rest of the team will be cheap for several years. Excellent way to build a dynasty. You know, dynasty is a big name for the Bears, but a dynasty. And then my final part to why you would keep Justin Fields instead of draft a new quarterback is that it is extremely risky to draft a new quarterback. I know everyone loves the new stuff. Everyone loves what you haven't seen, what you haven't heard of, because it could be anything. It could be great. It could be the next Patrick Mahomes. It could be the next Tom Brady. Or it could be the next Ryan Leaf. It could be the next Jamarcus Russell. It could be the next It's Josh Rosen. It could Zach Wilson. There's so many quarterbacks you can name who were drafted top 10 picks in the NFL draft. Everybody loved them. There's a bunch who drafted top 2. Trubisky, same team. There's so many quarterbacks that teams fall in love with, fans fall in love with, and then they fail. They just absolutely bomb, and they just wasted that pick. And even, the highly touted, can't miss prospects, like Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars. He has been good. He's been really good at times. Also, he hasn't been amazing. He has not been a top 5 quarterback that you would expect. And none of these prospects are anywhere near as highly touted as Trevor Lawrence is. So that shows that no matter how confident everybody is of this quarterback going into the draft, he can still fail. In fact, since 2011, which is when they redid the contracts for wage scales, and it kind of caused a big shift in how teams do their drafting of quarterbacks and such. 38 first-round quarterbacks have been taken. This does not include this year, but prior to this year. In total, they've made 1,909 starts. They have gone 1,034 and 1,035, and then 7 ties. So completely average. Also, among these 38 quarterbacks drafted in the first round over the past 12 years, only one of them has won the Super Bowl, and that was Patrick Mahomes. So clearly, just because you draft a quarterback high does not mean they're going to work out. Would you rather spend the super high draft capital on another lottery ticket, or would you trade it away and build up a very good team around Justin Fields and give him a legitimate chance over the next 2 years with a good team? And let's say he doesn't work out, then you can sign a new quarterback and you'll already have the team around him. So those are kind of the two sides. And I think it may be clear that I think the Bears should keep Justin Fields as of right now. You can't let the fans down. And he has shown just enough. It's not like he's been good, but he has shown just enough this year, in my opinion, to keep him for the next year. I won't commit to 2, but for the next year, I believe the Bears should keep him. So what do you think? Leave your comments down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you later.